right, guys, welcome to the podcast. So we'll dive right into it. Today, we had something else queued up for today, which we'll get into next week. But um, this week, I'm dealing with my body is just really feeling out of whack, and it's the first week of January. So myself, just like a lot of you guys, I think we all have New Year's resolutions. We're all gonna hey, I'm gonna hit the gym hard. I want to get on it and train. I have goals. I'm getting ready for the open, or want to get rid of the holiday weight. And what I think a lot of us will inevitably run into is setbacks. So setbacks is what I want to kind of theme this podcast on, and how we deal with those. So I'm not going to say, I think I'm speaking from someone who might not handle, say, injury, setbacks, or certain things really well.
No. Just go with the flow.
Yeah. It's okay. I'll just sit back. No, I think a lot of people like myself who are, we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to achieve certain things, whether it's like an athletic goal. A lot of the people who are listening to this, the students who go here, they're all like grad students, really smart kids. And then the adults who are here are all like high achieving in their careers and their families and lives. So we'll put a lot of pressure on ourselves to reach these goals. And I'm definitely in that category. And so when something throws that off, which inevitably will, almost every time you're working towards something, it's how do we handle that? How do we frame that? And then how do we roll with that and learn from those setbacks, and not just automatically well, I saw this guy and this was inspirational, so that's how it's going to go for me. It's different for everyone. So, part of these podcasts is probably just us talking through problems that we have and our issues. And so just to give you a little background for me, this fall, well, not really this fall, I would say maybe 3 weeks to a month ago, whatever the upper respiratory thing that was going around, that hit me pretty hard. I was able to train through it and still work out and do things, but that hit me pretty hard and it just dragged me down. So that seemed to hit almost right when it went from, we had 70-degree weather through November, and then all of a sudden it went, south, it went really cold. So then we're inside. I got sick. I felt like crap for about 2 weeks. I was just coughing. It wasn't anything that completely took me out of where I couldn't work and do things. Still moving around and working out, but I did not feel well. And so we get into Christmas and the holidays and all of that. And then we get off of that week of Christmas, and I'm like, okay, I've been dragging ass which feels like almost like a month. I got to put I'm not putting up any kind of good numbers in the gym on lifts or in workouts, and my times aren't real good. I'm going to really push it and try. I'm going to really try this week. Alongside of that, my daughter was waking up 3 or 4 times at night, waking us up, getting us up. So we're sleeping really bad, especially a few nights. So we get into that week. I'm pushing the workouts hard. I'm lifting more weight. I'm trying to wake everything up and get everything rocking and rolling, but I'm feeling bad. I'm not sleeping well. She was still waking up.
So do you think that was a good idea to keep trying to push
No.
those workouts? So I have this theory,
No.
and I'm just going to kind of catch you as you go,
Yep.
because I have this theory that illnesses don't need to knock you down all the way. You can intercept those, as you get them and help them be more moderate. Injuries, whatever, unless you
Yep.
get hit by a car,
Sure.
or there's some extenuating circumstance. And I think our bodies always talk to us. It's important for us to listen. And I think people ignore those beginning signs and then act like you're a victim. And I do it too. I'll
Mhm.
still keep trying to push. I'll be running. okay, I'll keep running and I have a hamstring pull, but you wanted to push workouts hard. Our daughter was waking up, you weren't sleeping. That would have been a good that would have been a good time for you to be like, okay, not yet.
Yep.
Not yet.
100%. So like it's another learning experience. Sometimes that you do need that, like, you need to be able to figure out like when is that time to get on it. Like, hey, I've been lazy. I've been sitting around. I'm rested. I'm hydrated. I need to get into the gym and start training.
Right.
I need to wait. And then you should feel invigorated and better. You'll be sore and stuff.
Right.
I wasn't feeling sore. I was feeling like I got in a car accident every time I worked
Because you had
out.
that illness and then
Yep.
you weren't sleeping.
Yep.
So that wasn't your case. You were working out. You just needed to ease back into it
Correct.
and not put so much pressure on yourself.
So long story short, I end up, my ankle kind of got twisted up a little bit on a workout when we're doing the rope climbs. And again, I didn't do anything super wrong. I just think my body was weak, and your ankle's going to like take a lot of pressure on that. And then the next day we're doing the double under and the snatch open workout. And, like my back was super tight going into it. I had even talked to you earlier in the day before we went in there. I'm like, I don't know. I'm just going to eat. It's 10 minutes. I'm just going to kind of flow through the workout. But even that, I just probably needed to like, that would have been a good day to jump on a bike or a treadmill. Like I was exhausted. I was having trouble like just getting going in the morning. Strain that.
What held you back from just jumping on the bike or the treadmill?
Well, the gym was pretty full. We had rev classes, power hour. That whole place was going to be filled up. I wanted to this is a 10-minute workout. I just wanted to get it over with.
Yes. But I think another point here to also pause, people get stubborn. So you know what you should do.
Yes.
And then Brandon was like, I don't feel like doing something off to the fucking side. I don't care. I want to be in part of the class.
Sure.
So people get stubborn, and then they're like, and I find this, I used to be this way a lot. I would hear myself and you would catch it. Hey, well, if you were not going to do this, you're not going to do that, then no one can help you with anything. So you're just too stubborn to do what you actually need to do and make that adjustment. So I really believe a lot of these like setbacks, if we keep finding the same setbacks, it's the inability to make the change when we need to, because we're committed to a plan that rides on everything happening in this perfect harmonious way that will never be reality. It is never reality. It just doesn't exist unless you're like on a Disney movie.
Yes. So So me pushing that now I'm off to the side every day for the short term until I can get everything feeling good, because pulled that muscle in my back's completely locked up. My ankle's swole up.
And it's visibly swollen.
I'm just coming out of like Mandy's office into here, and it's the first week of January. So like in my head, I'm like,
new start.
I'm like, yeah, I wanted to like, I already felt like I was set back, and now I'm really set back. And then so my mind starts racing like, okay. And then what I start to do inevitably, and this is where I personally run into a lot of issues, I start projecting this out. Okay, so when is this going to be better? And if it's not better in 2 days, now I'm really mad. And that cycle too, I feel like tends to like keep these injuries lasting longer, because what you'll inevitably do, and what I'll do, is try and mess with them too fast. I won't take the time to like let them just heal.
So what do you mean by that? So
it's like picking a scab over and over again.
So if your back is injured, I mean, you gave this example to me before, like you caught yourself doing it, like just rehabbing the hell out of it, which actually can piss it off more. Yep. So you're doing rehab, which technically should be correct, but you're doing so much that it keeps it constantly in pain. And then there's another component to this, which is what we always talk about, the mental thing. Then you're always thinking about that injury. And pain is funny. Like even in childbirth, we go through Lamaze, right? Especially old school, like, when they didn't have epidurals, there's like breath work to to distract you from the pain. You can take your pain from like a 10 to a 5 just through breath work and where your focus is. And I just wanted to share this real quick. Today, I woke up to an email with a client. Won't say the name of this client, but she had several injuries over the last couple years, all to her neck. And every day, I see her email, and she's talking about her pain level when she wakes up, and then she'll send me her food for the day. And today, she woke up with no pain. It's the first day with no pain, and I have her meditate every day. And she said last night she was meditating and she started to dive into her pain. Then she caught herself and changed it and said how thankful she was to have me in her life, to have Maddie help her. And she woke up today in no pain. And that is just her thoughts changing. But then your body will follow suit.
100%.
So you're talking about those thoughts and you can even see it in your body language. You're like all tense and
Yep.
I'll think about when I can come back. So we have the power to do it. How quick we want to turn around is really how stubborn we're going to be mentally.
So and then on the other side, so here's the two sides. It's I'm gonna fight this tooth and nail and I'm trying to get back too fast, or the other part of my brain is saying, like, just sitting here is painful for me right now, and like waking up, it's taken me a little while to get going and just get out of bed and like loosen my back up, and where I'm just like I don't want to do anything. And then that is also not the right thing to do. And that's, I think, more often than what people will do. Like, I quit. I'm not doing anything. I'm not going to try. When it feels better, I'll think about doing it again. Or I'm never, I have people who will like tweak their back deadlifting. And so like I have a sensitive back. Like I've tweaked my back up 10 times where I'm in, it hurts. I'm locked up. My thoughts are, I need to get an MRI, like that's the type of things that'll start to go through your head because it's a scary feeling. Like you can't hardly move, and inevitably, like it gets better. And when it gets better fast, it's when you like quit trying to overanalyze it and think about it and fight it and do all these things. It's like, when you can go with the flow and relax, it gets better a lot faster. And I remember having that like self-talk one time where I was like, man, I would just be happy if I could, pick up a barbell and do a workout again. And like, that's all I'll never pull a heavy deadlift again. And then I think a year later, I remember, this is like 10 years ago. A year later, I was pulling like a 475-pound deadlift, like it can and will rectify itself for you. I think the biggest thing is doing what you can, but also finding your inner knowing of like knowing what is the right thing for you to do at the time. And sometimes it is giving yourself more space, your mental capacity for like doing anything that might flirt with tweaking it or anything. Like, it might just be jumping on a bike, lightly stretching, doing a few push-ups, maintaining the habit of going to the gym, but in a way that puts no pressure on you. And that's what I'm trying to do this week. But I mean, she's been with me where like almost every day this week, I'll break down and get really pissed off at the situation that I'm in because, we have a trip coming up. I wanted to do the open, and like, I still do want to, but it's like, I gotta get step A, B, and C, get through that before I should even think about that. But my mind keeps going there.
When you
What
want
about
to
in
feel
6
good
weeks?
on the trip, we're going someplace warm. You're going to be in a swimsuit.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to feel
What
good.
about in 3 weeks? I don't want to look all pudgy and skinny at the same time, and skinny fat on the beach, and I want to be able to work out and do these things, and I want to feel good. Like I'm limping around on my ankle right now. I want to run when we're there, and so.
But what if we thought about like every day when you go through that period where you get real angry?
Yep.
And what if we thought about it like, hey, every day I do that, it's almost like I just go out there and run super hard and fast on the treadmill and fuck up my back and ankle again. because and essentially that's what's happening when your body gets really tight and rigid. You're taking your hormones go into this fight or flight. You're not
Hmm.
healing. You're not in a healing sort of situation internally, which sets you back every single day. And I do this too. I do this too. We all struggle with these thoughts. We all struggle with a certain feeling. I always get angry too. That's always the thing that comes up. And I have to talk myself down like I'm talking to a toddler. And I think the more we're just careful with ourselves and more gentle with our self-talk, the more we can heal. But there has to be a point of surrender. There has to be a
Sure.
point of letting go of your ego,
Yep.
letting go of the outcome, and literally listening to your body and trusting that that's the fastest process to all of your happiness.
Sure. No, and you couldn't be more right on, and I couldn't be sometimes worse at executing on that. And that's why I think it helps me to talk through it, and
Yeah,
like what we're
absolutely.
doing now, and because I can even feel it like in my leg and in my back, like everything is in this sort of wired and tired mode and inflamed and achy. And when you feel very calm and relaxed and you're sleeping well and you're waking up like feeling like you have a lot of energy and you feel strong, this kind of stuff heals very quickly. Days. I mean, it's quick.
Right.
Uh
So then it's just bullshit. Everything you said about, hey, I'm off on the sidelines indefinitely. That's just a story you tell yourself. That is just a story. You
no,
are right now,
no,
but we all need to
absolutely.
realize this. You cannot
Sure.
you cannot project how fast things will turn around,
Yep.
because the truth is it's your ability to heal, which largely is right here. But then if you're calm, you sleep better. If you're riled up, you don't sleep. If you don't sleep, you don't recover. If you're pissed off all the time, you're probably not going to take care of yourself in other ways. You're just going to be like, ah, I don't feel like eating this healthy thing or that healthy thing.
Mhm.
Or, your actions follow that, which is just becomes a cycle.
Well, this feeling like when I'm hurt and frustrated, the two things that I want to dive into are caffeine and alcohol, which are the worst things you can do, but make you feel the best for that temporary time. And so it's like catching things like that, like, don't do that. Like,
Yeah.
you have to do these calming things. And I think just for setbacks in general, because so many people in here are, hey, I'm coming to the gym. My goal is to come to the gym 5 days a week. I want to lose 25 pounds at the beginning of the year. Inevitably, a lot of us are going to have a circumstance like I ran into. And I feel like multiple ones for me all kind of hit at the same time, but it's your kids aren't going to sleep. Your job schedule might change.
Well, and
You might take an
no
injury in the
one's no
gym.
one's kids are sleeping right now. And that's the thing. I think also setting expectations. We all want to get in shape at the beginning of the year, but we just came off Christmas and New Year's, and I'm working with about 30 people right now, and anyone that has kids are like, shit, this is so hard. Like, they're all over the place. They're acting crazy. They're out of whack too.
Mhm.
So to ease it all back in, I think it would make a lot more sense for people to just tread lightly with their bodies and really like clean up the food,
Yeah.
clean up the alcohol. But I just want to address your point real quick too. That because I'm working with clients on a daily basis, and what I really feel like people do is they try to be too extreme. So and then I'll notice you will do that too. Well, okay, we're gonna hang out with friends. Well, we're not staying out late. We're not really gonna have fun. We're gonna be super controlled in every situation instead of just like allowing yourself to have that time where you can enjoy it, and then allowing yourself to push. Now you got to be careful. And I'm the one that tends to be like, okay, let's push it too far. So it's good to have you to pull me back, but I think you don't relax enough and are too controlled. So not only are you sitting on the couch and in pain, but you're not having any freaking fun. Like
Sure.
if you're gonna use that time, if you're going to be disciplined, have it be for a reason that's positive, and just don't be so extreme. I think if you when people have fitness goals, they think they have to be all or nothing, all or nothing, all or nothing. And I always was too. But the more I'm like, you know what? Hey, I'm gonna go through one weekend, no alcohol. That'll give me 2 weeks. I really feel like I can recover, and, my body can change a lot in 2 weeks, and that's good. Put to string together more 2 weeks, and hey, great if you're doing dry January, keep up with it. But what I
Yeah.
see people come out off of that, and then they come in hot to February, and then all of a sudden they're back to like drinking 3 or 4 times a week, which it would be much better if we all did like smaller chunks and learned to be more moderate. And
Yep.
speaking to myself too, but I just think you have to watch what you battle. If you battle like being too extreme and not relaxing, try to lean into that a little bit more to help you find your correct balance. If you battle being like the life of the party, like every time it's me, you know, I need to watch that. Not every night has to be the most amazing night ever. There
Mhm.
might just need to be a more chill night, and just but going with how you feel. And I think if we all tap into that, we know. We're like, "Hey, yeah, I'm a little tired. Like, I know it's Saturday, but it's 9 and I'm gonna call it a night." Or, "Hey, this is so much fun. I'm just gonna go with it." And really, all I'm trying to say is to tap into how you're feeling for recovery, for when to push, for when to pull back. And I even tell that for clients, like, even like nutritionally, if you kind of have this like plan where like, okay, this is super tight, people will fight that if they don't feel that. And instead of saying either I'm being super tight or I'm just eating whatever, kind of say to yourself, all right, today I'm struggling. Like yesterday, I was struggling mentally. And it's very small, but I just, mid afternoon's hard for me. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to have this extra cup of hot chocolate. And I could feel it. I like probably didn't need it. Um, I feel like a little fluffy today, but mentally I needed that yesterday. I was struggling. It was cloudy out and I was just in a shit mood, and no big deal. Today I have the mental energy. I feel a little better. Today I'm going to allow myself to be a little more uncomfortable. And when I go with that, my body responds favorably, rather than where I would always try to push is the diet, where like we're going to be tight, 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 tight. And then when I went off the rails, it was like, not fun things. It's not like I'm going out with friends. I would be at home binging on probably peanut butter topped with chocolate chips on tablespoons by myself in the kitchen. And it's only because I was fighting myself. So then it comes back to, why do we fight ourselves? Why do you think you always fight yourself?
Well, I want to control everything. I want to stick to my plan. And the plan is off. And so I'm trying to get back to what I was originally, and I am trying to force something that I'm trying to get back on a track that I've fallen off of, but I'm doing it the wrong way and I know better, in the way like you have to like ease back into things and incrementally get back on track. Like if you get sick, it's not a good idea to like come in and try and hit your max out deadlift. Typically when I've got injured, it's through like an illness or some sort of time off and I'm trying to do something really tough and hard. Um, but it's trying to control. It's trying to overly control, um, I think, what your intent is. So if like, say it's a member or someone who's listening to this and they're like, I want to lose 25 pounds or get ready for this event or the open or whatever it is. And then you take a little injury, you get off track, and then you're just like, okay, well, I'm going to take 2 days off and then just try and jump right back into whatever it is I was doing. And then if you get set back again, you're going to that's where people just quit. I
Yeah.
see that happen. And that's
Yeah.
kind of where I was getting to with this. It's like, I've done this for, I've done CrossFit for 15 years, but I've been training, I even worked out in high school longer than 20 years ago, but I've been training pretty steadily in the gym for about 20 years um, with minimal breaks. And, it's not a linear path by any means of just like getting better and going up all of the time. And, you know, I'm a guy who likes linear progressions a lot. Like I like to hit percentages that
Nice,
just
clean.
yep, that you just see ticking up consistently. Like I like my head really wraps around that, and then like inevitably when something gets broken in that chain and then it screws that
You don't like complications.
12
Anything
week.
that like we'll talk about, I'll have some business ideas or, oh, I think we could implement this new plan.
Mhm.
And if it's not real clean, you're like, bah, but
Yeah.
life's messy.
Yeah.
The life is messy.
So it's going, if for me, it's really learning. And I've been more successful with it than I even have this past week where like I haven't, I feel about the same as I did Monday with everything. And I'm like, I'm finally
And you've
getting
been
into see
eating
Mandy.
healthy.
Yep.
You've been sleeping better.
Yep.
No alcohol. So
Yep.
the factor that's holding you back.
Yeah. It's just getting my mind to wrap around, like letting go of controlling what this outcome is going to look like. So
Where
when
do
I
you,
can do that, once I typically just give up, it's almost like I give up this tightness in my chest and stomach, like this control of it. When I'm able to really do that is when I've really started that healing process and my body can simmer down and start to get out of the essentially like a mild fight or flight mode
Yeah.
that it's in all of the time when I get hurt.
yes, because
Yep.
then something else will get tweaked in your body.
Sure.
So, and I just want to address this, real quick again, because I think this applies to probably like half the population that's been here with us for a while that gets banged up and is super like type A control. And then we'll talk about like the other half that's kind of like just getting going and you need to kind of reframe in your mind a different way. But and I see this with this revamp that I'm running for the body biz. And I have old clients come back, and especially the real motivated ones that come in here all the time. They're like, but I like my fitness pal and we track and we do this and we do. And I'm like, yes, but that's controlling. So where does control come from? Why do we try to control? Like what is going on there? Fear, right? You
Sure.
have a fear. A fear of what? When you control life, you don't trust. So it's a fear of trusting yourself in some way. And I can speak to this because I battle this is like the huge one for me the last couple years. I'm at a good place with it, but it wants to like keep latching on. But can like trusting in yourself that you can be the person you want to be, but relaxed and happy and enjoying life that I only felt safe if I was in pain. And I feel like a lot of us feel that way. I would only feel safe if I was like really hungry all day long. Then I feel like I've earned like some sort of recognition to feel good, or I would just beat the shit out of my body. Then I'd feel okay. It's really just like it all, we all come back to this, comes back to like trusting that you can be happy and have the life that you want physically, emotionally, spiritually, socially, whatever. But then it all comes back to like loving yourself where you're at. And if you don't have that self love, you won't let yourself feel good. And you keep coming back to how to punish yourself, which is what we all do, which in a way, in essence, you're doing. Whether you realize it subconsciously or consciously, we all do that. Like we just won't let ourselves relax. I have a hard time relaxing. So I'll make my life chaotic in other ways to keep myself riled up and nothing, then if I have 10 things going on, probably like 4 of them are a little messed up and then I can focus on that. And then if I focus on that, then, it kind of keeps me occupied. But to be calm is really, really hard for me. And I think the more that I work through that, that's the place to look and focus. And that's what I'm really big on now is where does each person need to focus? So if you're out there, you're listening, you've got to think about where you're at.
So actionable stuff here, to
Yeah.
leave people with like,
Yes.
so what do you think? Like if you run into like, you're on your New Year's resolution or you are training for, we have a lot of members in here training for marathons that are coming up in the spring or whatever it is, you run into a setback, you get hurt, you get sick or ill. What do you do?
So I think number one, ask yourself, why am I doing what I'm doing? Okay. So I think people get in patterns of doing the same thing over and over again. If it's every year I run a marathon in the spring and that's just what I do, ask yourself, does that fit for me this year or should I change it up?
Yep.
Maybe this year I need to run a 5K and get really fast, train my body in different energy systems. And that will actually get people a lot leaner and healthier.
Okay.
Training So number
yep.
one, is my goal the best for me right now? Number two, do not stop. Do not stop working out. If you can go to work, if you can stand up, you can go sit on a bike, you can do maybe a yoga class isn't the best for you, but you can do something. Yoga, old school workouts, do not stop working out. You need to try
Pull
to
on some cables, yeah.
yeah, release those endorphins, keep your body feeling safe, stay consistent with your nutrition plan. Really try to meditate every single day. That is really important to try to calm down your nervous system and try to get good sleep every single night.
That's why I do think, on what I was just gonna, at least for me, something that's very important, why I need to maintain training at like even a very low level, like what I'm doing right now, while I'm waiting to get back into class and stuff is, if I don't wear my body out in some way, like a lot of the work I do now is in the office and stuff. So I need to like, I need that friction to grind on, or I will not be able to sleep well.
Everybody does.
Yeah.
Everybody
You need to wear
does.
yourself
Yes.
out, especially when we're inside, we're not getting sunlight to like make that melatonin
Everybody
naturally
does.
and all
Yeah.
that. You need to grind on something physically to sleep optimally at night.
Yeah.
So if you can get that workout in, it is going to physically wear your body out so you actually do get into a deep sleep.
Not only that, but you
Yeah.
get your blood flowing.
Mhm.
And so even like post surgery now, almost any type of surgery you have, they want you to get up and get blood flowing. They
Yeah.
might not have you elevate your heart rate a ton,
Yep.
but they want to get your blood flowing to send white blood cells to the injured area to help it recover.
Yep.
So it is proven that it helps. And like we always say, probably half that's mental too.
Yeah. All right. I think we'll leave it there, guys. Hopefully we weren't just rambling on too much. Yeah, we'll catch you next time for the 50th one.